Fun fact, Koh Tao, Thailand is the cheapest place in the world to get scuba diving certified. And today, we're going to be doing just that. Back in 2018, Caleb got scuba certified, and he's been trying to convince me to go diving with him ever since. The only problem is, scuba diving scares me. Being meters and meters below the ocean's surface, all the sea animals you can run into, possible equipment failure, and my own human error of messing something up. It all scares me. But we're here now, and over the next 4 days, we're going to be learning how to use the equipment, going on 4 ocean dives, and hopefully at the end of it, walking away with a scuba diving certification. Let's see how this goes. Our first step was getting to Koh Tao, a small island about 40 miles offshore in the Gulf of Thailand. Not only is Koh Tao the cheapest place to get scuba certified, but it's also home to some of the best diving in the world. We took a 7-hour bus ride from Bangkok and then a 2-hour boat ride to get to the island. We had our first lesson in the afternoon where we met our instructor and went over the basics of diving. We wrapped up around 6:30, grabbed some dinner, and made our way to the hotel for the night.
You ready to go?
Let's go.
Good morning. We are walking to our first official session that'll be in the pool today. Feeling a little nervous, but after our orientation yesterday, I am feeling a little bit better and more confident about getting into the water. It seems like it's really going to be step by step, so we will see.
I'm feeling good. The only thing I'm nervous about diving this time is my sinuses. Last time I had a really hard time clearing all the pressure in my ears and nose. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. But besides that, I feel great.
All right, day 1 is complete. I was nervous going into it, but as soon as we got in the water, I felt fine. I felt fine the whole time. They walked us through step by step, making sure we were comfortable, standing in the water, breathing normally without the respirator, and then breathing, out of the water with the respirator, then in the water with the respirator, which was great, and it made me feel super comfortable the whole time.
So one of our instructors told us about a little bay close to here where we should be able to swim with sea turtles. So we're gonna try. It's like a once in a lifetime thing for us. So we're gonna try to rent a scooter and fingers crossed, hopefully we'll see some. We were told to find the groups of people swimming. That's where the turtles are. Forgot how to use the snorkel for a minute. This is so cool, there's so much wildlife. You're good here. You okay? What happened?
The ocean is terrifying.
You feeling okay now?
I'm not going to go back out. I've had enough ocean time. So we're in from snorkeling. We were out around where those boats are, and we had already been out there for a while. I felt like I was ready to turn in. So I start swimming back to shore. Caleb's following me, and then he's like ahead and to the right of me. And I look to my left, and we're in a depth that is taller than I am, at least 6 or 7 feet. And there is a sea snake fully from the ground to the surface. I am like making eye contact with this thing, like 2 feet away from me, and I fully panicked. I like swam with all my might to Caleb. I was freaking out because wasn't like right next to me, and yeah, I've had enough snorkeling for today.
I'm going out one more time. This is too cool for me to miss. Someone said they saw a turtle like 60 feet that way, so I'm gonna see if I can find it. I just swam with the sea turtle. That was so freaking cool. And it was fast, so I'm pretty tired.
I'm jealous I didn't see the turtle, but not so jealous that I wish I got it. Okay, we had our morning session, which was just like a lesson in a classroom. We just finished lunch, and now we're gonna go head back because in 30 minutes we are going out to the ocean.
You passed your exam.
Yeah, we passed our exams. Nothing left but ocean now, so.
First dive. I feel good. I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. Look how pretty it is. Finally, it was time for the first of 4 ocean dives, and we couldn't have picked a more beautiful day. We went to Mango Bay where the water was super calm and clear. We jumped in, found a nice sandy area to gather a few meters below surface, and during this first dive, we started by doing the drills we practiced in the pool yesterday. This is actually a really big step from doing them in a shallow pool. I watched as Lindsey went through her drills, throwing away her regulator and retrieving it, flooding her mask with water and then clearing it, and practicing buoyancy, so using her breath control to go up and down. She crushed it, and she even looked much less nervous than I was when I originally got my certification. The dive went super smooth. We had a little fish friend join us for the rest of the drills, then we got to do some swimming around the rest of the bay. We saw fish, coral, and even some strange cube structures. After yesterday's snorkeling experience, I wasn't sure how Lindsey would do being back in the water, but she looked solid. Before we knew it, about 40 minutes had passed, and it was time to go back to the surface, eat some snacks, and get ready for our second dive of the day.
How are you guys? Good?
Great.
Ah, it's beautiful.
Is this a good day in the office or a bad day in the office?
Normal day.
Normal day?
So fun. So much better than snorkeling.
Okay, how'd it go?
I had so much fun. I wasn't nervous at all. I was way more nervous snorkeling yesterday than I was at any point today. The whole time I felt great. I had a little trouble clearing my left ear. I was kind of having to like constantly clear them, and then the left one wasn't clearing for a couple minutes, and it was fine. I just had to like stop, go up a couple meters, clear it, and then I could come back down, and it was fine. But it was great. No nerves. It was fun. I'm excited to do more diving.
Wow, I'm so stoked that you had a good time. That was great. This is beautiful here.
For our second dive, we explored a slightly deeper area of Mingo Bay. On our first dive, we were told to stay above 10 meters, but this time we were allowed to go down to 12. Using a rope to guide ourselves, we slowly descended, and this time it really felt like we were exploring. I think this is where scuba diving really clicked for me. Yesterday, while snorkeling, I felt like I had to be on constant high alert, making sure I wasn't accidentally inhaling water, getting too close to boats, or whatever else. But with scuba diving, I didn't feel nearly as worried. Of course, I was still checking on Caleb and the rest of the group, but I felt a lot more confident in my ability to handle things within my control. We had also gone over emergency procedures so many times in class that I trusted what we'd learned. I knew that if something happened, either I could help someone or someone could help me. I think that trust let me relax and actually enjoy the experience. That said, I was definitely still learning how to be underwater. In class, they told us that objects appear 33% larger and 25% closer than they do on land, and you can see me falling for it during this dive. I was so worried about running into the coral that instead of casually swimming above it, I would end up soaring way over it. You can also see me holding onto my regulator a lot. I was still getting used to it and felt a lot more comfortable keeping it in place, especially when turning my head or if I accidentally swam a little too close to someone's flippers. But overall, this dive was amazing. We saw a ton of wildlife, potentially even our friend from before, and after about 30 minutes, we slowly made our way back to the surface. Wow, so fun. Oh my gosh. Second dive was just as fun as the first. I, again, felt totally comfortable the whole time. It was great. I think we have a great instructor. The group is really small, so it's easy to like stay together. It was great. I'm excited for tomorrow.
So we're locked out of our room. We think the deadbolt latch might have closed when we closed the doors. So we're waiting for the people who are here to help get us back into the room.
Yeah. Tôi đề vậy mấy. Tụi mình. Okay, mình còn được. Very good.
Got it? Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
Down.
Is she the one?
For dive number 3, we are going to Cham Phan Pinnacle, which is our instructor's favorite place to dive in Koh Tao, so you know it's good.
It's a little freakier here that you can't see the bottom.
We suited up, jumped in, and just like our second dive, we used a rope to pull us down to our desired depth. We started descending with Lindsey in the very back. When I looked back to see how she was doing, she was way behind the rest of the group and signaling that she was having trouble with her ears again. Another instructor went up to help her until she was able to clear them and join us. I thought that yesterday had great wildlife, but today was something else entirely. Lindsey also did phenomenally. You can still see her doggy paddling a little and holding on to a regulator, but she was doing it much less than yesterday and looked comfortable the whole time. After the dive, we climbed out of the water and back into the boat. And since the dive was so amazing, the group decided to just stay in the same spot for our last dive.
On the way down, I don't know if I had trouble clearing my ears because every time I would do it, they would clear on like the first try. But I had to clear them every like breath, basically. Like every time I went down a little bit, I had to clear them. So I was kind of at the back, going down much slower than everyone else was. It just took me a while to clear my ears. But once we got down there, I was fine. I didn't have to like go back up. Have any problems with that.
I know, this doesn't look like scuba diving. That's because I'm inside one of Vietnam's coolest coffee shops. More on that in a second. But first, keeping in touch with people is hard. Between work, travel, and everything else, it's really easy to lose touch with friends, family, and even old coworkers you actually want to stay connected with. That's why we built Socialite. It makes it effortless. It's like a personal assistant for your relationships, helping you stay connected to those who matter most. It reminds you when to reach out, remembers important details, and even helps you craft messages with AI, so you always know what to say. Basically, it's got your back. Anyways, this is a sneak peek into our next video, where we explore 6 of Vietnam's coolest coffee shops. So if you want to see more of this place, make sure you're subscribed so you see that video when it drops. Now, back to scuba diving.
Finally, it was time for our last dive. I was really excited for this one, but it had a pretty rocky start. I'm not sure if it was the diving, being on a boat, or what, but at this point in the day, I was feeling a little motion sick. Hopefully this isn't TMI, but in training they told us if you had to be sick underwater, you should just hold your regulator in place and, just let it happen. At this point, I had plenty of experience holding on to my regulator, and I was so close to getting my diving certificate, so I just decided to go for it. I was the first student down on this dive, but again, I started having trouble clearing my ears. One of the instructors had to pull me out of line and take me up a few meters at a time to try to get them to clear. By the time they finally popped, my head was inches from the surface. But once they did, he guided me back down, and thankfully, they didn't give me any more trouble for the rest of the dive. But I'm so glad I pushed through that rough start because this was by far the coolest dive we've done. Somehow, there were even more fish than last time. It felt like such a pinch me moment, being able to breathe underwater and swim alongside them. Here's me saying, look, they're all around us. And you can tell I'm way more comfortable now, staying a reasonable distance from the coral instead of overshooting it, keeping my hands in place instead of doggy paddling, and not holding on to my regulator nearly as much. But it was also just fun. Here's me trying to do a bubble ring. By this point, I found scuba diving, and especially this dive, so relaxing. I think it's a mix of the beautiful environment, the focus on deep, steady breathing, and the way you're kind of forced to stay present. You can't let your mind wander, you just have to be in the moment. It felt really peaceful. Before this trip, I wasn't even sure if I'd make it through this course. Now, I cannot wait to dive again. Seriously, I'm already planning other dive trips we can take this year. So, for the world's cheapest scuba certification, I'd say it's well worth the money.